Can you define the luxury brand of your studio? I'm interested to hear your words on that.
Sure. So being a luxury brand, there's a lot of things that make a company or a brand luxury. And really, I'd say probably two of the most important things are going to be your price. Like, you cannot be a luxury brand and be low priced. It just doesn't make any sense. People are going to think something's wrong there.
Right, there'll be a disconnect.
Exactly. Yeah. So your price has to be reflective of being luxury. Also, you can't do all the things that a luxury brand is going to offer if you're not priced appropriately. So that's really important. And then the level of service that you offer. Even when I wasn't priced high, it was really important to me that my clients had an amazing experience.
Right.
I was bending over backwards for those clients. And I continue to do that for my clients now. I just have a really great system of creating an experience that helps to solve problems. I want to find any potential pain points that a client has, anything that's going to be hard for them, either before the shoot, during the shoot, after the shoot, and solve that problem so that it's just an easy, seamless, fun experience for them.
Awesome. So you hit on, right away when we were talking about a luxury elevated brand and business, pricing was the first thing you talked about. And we're going to dig into that a little bit more, but pricing, your mannerism, your experience in doing this, the brick and mortar studio, being prepared, multiple meetings prior to the session. So this is really an investment far beyond the financial piece of it. It is an investment of time on your part, on their part. So from beginning to end, like from the first time that somebody would reach out to you, through the whole process, I mean, how many weeks are we talking about, or months that go into this?
Yeah, well, it depends a little bit on when they inquire. Sometimes people are inquiring. I've had people inquire about their maternity and newborn sessions. They just found out they were pregnant. And she's like, I haven't even told my husband.
Oh, wow.
But they're so excited. They've been following me for a while, and we really want to book with you. And we weren't sure how far in advance that we needed to book. I'm like, okay, 9 months. We got plenty of time. We're going to get you on the schedule for sure. Maybe go home and talk to your husband. Let him know that you're expecting. That's really exciting.
That has to make you feel pretty darn special.
Oh, I love it.
Yeah.
I have clients who have been following me for years. I've had them tell me, like, they knew when they saw the photography, like, they couldn't wait to have a kid. I'm like, there's other reasons to have children than just the pictures. But I love that. I love that it inspires them. It's something that they're connected to.
Yeah.
So that's really fun.
Absolutely. So the timepiece, the investment, your expertise, and then the finished product piece of it too. And I know that you are a believer of finished products.
Absolutely.
So how does that become the icing on the cake or the cherry on top, at the end, where you have this amazing experience, the session, the lead up, the sales appointment, and then they have this beautiful product? Like, what are some of the things that you love to offer to your clients?
Albums are my favorite.
Okay.
And they can tell. I offer several different options, but I think my love for albums is shown in what I end up selling the most.
Yeah.
And I just think they're great for the genres that I photograph.
Yes.
I will talk to them and share stories about, I love this story where my oldest son was just fresh as a teenager, and he pulled out a photo album that I had from when I was pregnant with him and when he was a baby. And these weren't professional photos. It was back in the age of scrapbooking. So it was one of those kind of albums. And there was one picture of me pregnant, and he asked me when he saw that picture, what was it like when you were pregnant with me? And to be able to express to my teenage son, I loved you from the moment I knew you were mine. Like, that was a really meaningful conversation that we had for this kid who's in a kind of troublesome time period in his life. It's hard being a teenage boy.
Teenage boys in troublesome? What?
Right, no. I have a teenage daughter right now. Let me tell you, I take the teenage boy over the teenage daughter any day. But to be able to have that conversation with him was really significant for him. And also, like, I think that's what photography is we put up on our walls what we love.
Right.
And I want my children to know how much I love them. Yeah. So that was really significant. So for my clients, I'll share experiences like that because I want them to connect with the idea of an album is more than just an opportunity to, like, put something on the coffee table to, like, brag to people about. This is showing our children how important they are to us. And I don't know that I would have had that conversation with my son if I hadn't had that picture printed somewhere. having it on my phone, having it like on the cloud somewhere doesn't necessarily mean that we would have that conversation ever.
Right.
So they're really important.
That's awesome. That's a fantastic story. I'm really glad that you shared that. That's very, very powerful.
Yeah.
So to go back to the psychology of a luxury brand. So I live not too far from here, and there's a mall in our area where there's a Louis Vuitton store. And every time you go by Louis Vuitton, doesn't matter if it's Monday, Saturday, Sunday, Tuesday, doesn't matter, there is a stanchion and there's a line waiting to get in. The psychology of not being available to everybody.
Right.
Price, experience. I want to dig into that a little bit with you today. So I just pulled off a few quotes from online, and I'm just going to read a couple and kind of get your reactions to them. So dimension of elegance, practicality, luxuriousness, if that's actually a word, desirability, stylishness, and high quality. So do you feel that all of those apply to your brand and how you present yourself to clients?
Yeah, I would hope so.
Yeah.
I think that having a brand that, a lot of people will say, but I'm not like a luxury brand person. A lot of my students will be concerned, but like, what if I don't dress fancy and I don't have a nice car and I don't wear brand name labels? Neither do I. I mean, I honestly think Target's kind of bougie. I would rather.
It can be.
Yeah, this is true.
It's actually pronounced Target.
Oh, pardon me.
Yes, that's more bougie.
Exactly. I would rather have 10 Target purses. Actually, it would take a lot more than 10 Target purses. I'd rather have 10 Target purses and go on vacation than have a Louis Vuitton purse. It's just not something that I value or that's a priority for me. And I'm not saying that it's bad to value that, because I spend my money on things that are important and are valuable to me. And everybody's different in what's important to them.
Right.
So I'd say being a luxury brand, and my clients value what I offer. Not just the art, because there are a lot of amazing newborn photographers and maternity photographers out there, but the experience that I provide. That pampering, taking care of my clients, giving them the best experience that I can. That's really important to them. And you'll find that these brands do the same thing. They take really good care of their customers.
So it's interesting what you just said. So when you're looking at, people talk about defining your client a lot. You will hear that from the platform almost all the time. To me, that was always difficult because it's not necessarily somebody that is going to pull in a high-end expensive car or live in a $3 million home. It 100% is what you said. It's what people value. In their children, their family, their everything, and that people will save for a long time for something luxurious. And I think this next quote fits directly with what you said. People often buy luxury items because of the way the products make them feel, not because they necessarily need a specific product or service. They can be something that is not affordable to them. So when people talk about the personas, that can be tough, because you could be talking to the wrong person that is maybe has the means but isn't going to invest. Have you found any of that in your?
Yes. Yeah, it's really interesting, because sometimes with one client you'll have one partner who is fully on board and they get the value of it, and then the other one who is not understanding the value at all and they don't see the point, which can be difficult to help them manage it. I mean, that's not my job. It's to go to marriage counseling if you need that. But oftentimes it's my job. It is to show them the value. And it's up to them whether or not they're going. What I find is really interesting is lots of times when I do that design consultation and I have a couple that comes in, I can tell which one is hesitant, kind of borderline. By the end of that, if they've booked, I've done my job. I've shown them the value. And then when they come back in for their reveal session and they're picking out what they want, the one that was hesitant is always the one that drives the bigger sale. They're like, let's get everything. Because they've gotten sold and this was an amazing experience. The images are precious and really priceless at that point to them. You talked about the emotion. I want to create an emotional connection for my clients from the very beginning, not with me necessarily, well, that's great, I want them to feel connected to me, but with the images and with that printed artwork. So talking about the album in a way that helps them to get excited about having an album that they can sit with their child who they haven't even met yet. We haven't even photographed them yet, but they already feel connected to that. That's really important. So we do a lot of that in the process of finding ways to help connect them potentially to those images.